Hi, my name is Tammy Cochran, and I am doing my senior project on building awareness with multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is also known as MS. It is a disease that attacks the central nervous system, which includes your spinal cord and your brain. Sclerosis is the buildup of scar tissue on both your brain and your spinal cord. When scar tissue continues to build up, it blocks the messages your brain's trying to send to your body, or the messages your body is trying to send to your brain. A few things that MS affects is people's vision, mobility, and speech. Sometimes when people have MS, they will talk with a slurred speech. They may talk like that one day, and the next day they'd be fine. It all has to do with the messages that your brain's trying to send to your body, and your body's trying to send to your brain. One way to think about it with multiple sclerosis, with the blocking of the messages, is think about like you go outside one day and your car's not starting. It could be a cold day, it could not be a cold day. But you wiggle the battery wire a certain way and it will start. You go into work, everything's fine, you come back out and it's not doing it again. So you're like, okay, maybe it's just the battery again. You mess with the battery, but it doesn't do nothing. So you go home, get a ride, come back, change the battery out. It's still not really doing nothing unless you wiggle the wire. Well, it's kind of like that. Sometimes everything will be fine, and other days everything won't be. I mean, one day it could be your speech, another day it could be your walking, one day it can be your sight, another day it could be your hearing, or it could be your speech and your sight one day, or your mobility and your speech one day. You know, no day is going to be the same. Every day is going to be different. At this time, there is not a cure for MS. It also is not known exactly where MS comes from. Some researchers believe it's from heat, while other ones say it has nothing to do with climate. Some believe it's hereditary, and others say it's not. MS affects more than 2 million people. Every day, more people are finding out they have this disease. It can happen in both men and women. It is more common in women, but don't get it wrong, because if you're a man, you can still get it. It is also more common in people between the ages of 20 and 50. There have been a couple hundred cases where someone has been younger than 20 who has been diagnosed with MS. I think the youngest case was 16 that I had seen. It was some girl, she was playing basketball, and she was running down the court, and the next thing you know, they said she fell to the ground. Well, with all the tests they did and doctors she seen, they had discovered she had MS, and she was only like 16. In order to be diagnosed with MS, you have to go see a licensed physician. You can't just go to your doctor's office. They have to refer you out to someone who is trained and specialized in looking for MS and other diseases. Even though at this time there is no cure for MS, researchers are continuing to do research to figure out how we can stop this disease and ways we can figure out where it's coming from, and if they can figure out how someone gets it. Not just because of the buildup of scar tissue, there has to be other issues there that cause the buildup of the scar tissue that blocks the messages. When someone finds out that they have MS, there's a lot of things that they can be going through their mind. Some people fall into depression, and when this happens, if you ever experience depression, you know that some people handle it differently. Some people lock themselves in a room all day, or lock themselves in the house. They don't want to talk to nobody. Some of them stop eating. Some people just lay in the bed all day. And if someone has MS, do any of these, it could actually make the effects of MS even worse. Like, if they're not getting up and moving around, it can affect the mobility even more, because what the saying is, don't use it, you lose it. So that means if you're not using your muscles, they're going to become weak and they're going to become brittle. And then if one day you say, okay, well, I'm not going to let this beat me no more, and you try to overdo it and become overactive too fast, you can actually hurt yourself more than you realize. I mean, if you haven't lost your muscles or your legs in 6 weeks, you can break a bone. It's like when someone has a cast, and a lot of times you have a cast now for 6 to 8 weeks, you have to go through physical therapy just to be able to get that mobility back in your arm or your leg or whatever may have been broken, because you haven't used it in so long, you can break it again. If you know someone has MS, don't assume that they're okay all the time. Ask them. Ask them if they need someone to talk to. Ask them if they need a ride somewhere. Ask them if they just need you there for moral support. I mean, find out if they want you to go with them to a support group if there's any, if they're new and they don't want to go alone because they're afraid for the first time. Try to get them involved in like activities to keep the strength up, so that they don't use the muscle, or help them maintain a healthy diet, so they don't put on the extra weight if they're depressed and they keep eating, so that way it don't affect them more. I mean, there's a lot you can do to support somebody if they're your friend, or if you have MS and one of your friends just finds out they have it. Talk to them about it. Say, hey, this is what I went through when I first found out I had it. This is what you can do to overcome it. You have to be there to support somebody, not just mentally and physically, just like in all aspects that you can. We're not going to find a cure overnight. Research costs money. In order to get the money, there's plenty of fundraising events that people can go to help out. Some of the events that I've actually helped out on has been bike rides and walks for MS. There's also different places that donate part of the proceeds to MS. Even though there is no cure for MS, researchers are continually finding ways to help people with MS until there is a cure. At this time, with the help of research, we have the FDA has approved up to like 10 medicines, I believe, that people can use, and there's still more that they're working on. And with the research in these medicines, it helps someone who has MS live a day-to-day life more normally. Yes, of course there's always going to be side effects, and of course it's not going to work for everybody. But with the right, physician or psychiatrist to help them, they can get people on the right medicines to help them. And also as we continue to do more research, researchers are able to find out ways to better aid these people without even using medicine. Hopefully one day they'll be able to just get rid of it. There are many ways people can help with research, because research does cost money, and it's you can go to fundraising events such as bike rides and walks. There's another thing called Muckfest, and if you go to the National MS Society's website, they have events all across the U.S. and they're always raising money to help with this. There's other places that will donate proceeds to it. Like one person who's well known to help with MS is Shamar Moore, because his mom has it. So he has a clothing line where part of his proceeds actually go to aid and help fund MS research to help people like his mom. As you can see in the chart I have included in this presentation, you can see where the money goes that the National MS Society raises, and you can see that a huge percentage of it and part of it goes to people who have MS to help them get to the places they need to like support groups, doctors, visits, even shopping. The National MS Society believes that the community as a whole needs to know where the money goes to, that people are donating. If someone donates and you want to know where's my money actually going to, I don't want to donate if it's all going just to research and not actually helping the people themselves. So with this chart, you're able to see that a huge percentage of it does go to the people who actually have MS to get them to where they need to go. In closing, I just want to say that MS is no less important or no more important than any other diseases that are out there. Just because you can't get it through contact, blood transfusions or open cuts like you can AIDS, it's not any less important. People still deserve answers, and people still want to know why. Why them? They still need, people who have MS need to realize there is help out there, and one day, may not be tonight or tomorrow, there will be a better way to deal with this. Maybe, hopefully, even a cure when they're alive. If not, something so they can live life better every day, that they don't have to worry about, if I fall, am I going to break my hip? If I fall, am I going to break my arm? Okay, I can see today. Tomorrow, what about tomorrow? Will I be able to see? Oh, what if they wake up one day and they can't see? What do you tell them? Oh, I'm sorry, so ma'am, you're not ever gonna see again. You don't know. If you don't know, you should not say that, especially if you're not a licensed or trained physician in it. There have been people who have lost their sight for a few hours, a few days, even a few weeks, even a few months, but they gained it back. We want to give these people hope, just like we do give people hope for any other thing. Just like if a kid loses his parents and all of a sudden have to go into foster care, we have to give them hope that one day you will be able to go live someplace and be happy.